morning.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Juice in the Morning. I am your host, Justin Juice Kelly. I have an extra deep voice today, so enjoy that in your ear holes. Back with me is Johnny Bowden and Shane Jones. We are at full power today. How are you doing today, ladies? Gentlemen. About said ladies and gentlemen.
That's okay.
No problem, bro.
I'm good.
It'd be better if it didn't like Gumby was dick slapping me in the face.
Well, I thought the color like livened up the mic a little bit and maybe would make people get a little closer to it because that's what you have to do to make the mic sound good.
It's like, should I taste it?
Well, I'm kind of thinking about Gumby's horse.
Oh yeah, the horse wasn't green.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, was he?
Oh yeah. No. Wait. Oh yeah.
Let
Let me look this
Gumby's
up.
green.
Yeah.
I had a little toy Gumby.
They wouldn't make both of them green. Come on.
All right.
You gotta look this up.
This is hot Gumby talk. No, the horse was actually red.
What?
The horse was red.
Dude, that's not what you call Indians these days. Okay.
But yeah, we have a really good podcast today. I have to actually pick somebody that I'm going to give a $50 Amazon gift card to because I hit 2,000 followers. It's not going to be like our Facebook giveaway where I didn't actually pick anybody. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What was our giveaway
shirt,
for?
Probably.
Was it 1,000 followers on Facebook?
You know what? We did this thing when we first got the shirts that we were like, man, these shirts are fucking awesome, and everybody's gonna want one, and then nobody wanted one.
Yeah, there's still some over there in the box. Yeah. No, so I'm going to give away a $50 gift card for 2,000 followers. So if you're part of the Juice in the Morning crew, you have a chance to win today. So what I'm going to really do is I'm just going to scroll through Twitter and just pick somebody. So what do you guys think about that? Is that good? Is that good?
Sure, Dad.
Sure, Dad. So we're just going to go ahead and scroll through. So whoever's at the top is fucked. So sorry. Sorry, you got no chance. Let's stop right there. The Donut Bag Podcast. So that's that's a really good one because Joey Bag of Donuts has joined us on the podcast on the Fantasy Football Podcast. So that's awesome. So Joey Bag of Donuts, you have 2 days to call me and let me know that you're interested in the podcast and thank you. That you're interested in the podcast and the giveaway. So, Joey Bag of Donuts, you're $50 richer on Amazon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
How do I win that?
You don't win. You're on the podcast. You can't win. It's kind of like radio.
This is bullshit.
You don't get a chance. Actually, I don't think we can even do the laptop because I don't have the plugs.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
Moving on.
Thanks, Jen. But yeah, we have Shaun Latham that we're going to be calling here in a minute. Hopefully he answers because it would be kind of lame if we did a podcast and then they didn't actually answer the phone when we called him.
It's a very possible thing that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
But also explain to people who this person is.
Shaun Latham is the $20 chef. He's on Barstool Sports. He did a lot of interviews for Rough and Rowdy, which is a... Have you seen any of the Rough and Rowdy
It was
stuff?
actually on last night, right?
Yeah. No, it was on Friday night. They do Friday nights.
Okay.
But it's funny because it's literally a bunch of hillbillies just like boxing in a ring.
I have seen it. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
I watched it at my buddy Calvin's house.
So have you, like, what do you think about that? Because you are a fight fan. Are you interested in the Rough and Rowdy where people are not skilled at all at fighting?
Yeah, it's funny. It's just the characters that they like come into the ring and stuff, and like the just how stupid some of the people are.
These interviews that Shaun Latham's been doing are really hilarious. Like a guy's like, I don't know, I'm gonna butcher it, but basically the guy's like, I'm not gonna train for this. I'm gonna beat a Florida boy's ass. Like just fucking like some guy from Georgia that looks like a fucking bowling ball of a man. He's just a solid dude, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's gonna knock whoever the fuck he's fighting out. I don't care.
I did hear about them giving a cop lost his job, and then they gave him like 2 years pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he lost his job as a cop.
He lost his job because he was fighting.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And he was like, you know how they do those like talk like the ramp up videos where they're just talking shit. Yeah, and he's like, fuck that other guy. So like, I think that's probably what got him fired.
That's my favorite part though. It's like the old school WWF. Like, you know, people who always like
cutting a promo,
but they're not.
I think.
They're the people that used to like play.
What's up, brother?
Yeah,
I'm coming for you tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, Friday night. But yeah, I like my favorite part of that Rough and Rowdy thing is the interviews after the fights.
Yeah,
they're really funny.
Well, I enjoyed the ring girls. in the ring girls were really funny because there was a video I saw of like one walking around the ring and her stilettos were like a fucking foot tall.
I just don't know why they don't have ring dudes.
It's 2018, bro.
Yeah.
Give me some ring dudes.
I'm trying to see some slong.
He's hanging some dick out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Shaun Latham is a very funny guy. I followed him on Bob and Tom, and we're gonna go see his show in Nashville, Indiana next weekend. So I'm hoping to get in that green room and hang out and party with him because he's known as a big partier. So
cool.
So I'll have another voice like this on the podcast.
Yeah.
But no, before we get into that though, I have a few news stories. Did you guys hear about the girls going to school to drink a classmate's blood?
Seems normal.
I miss those days. It seems normal?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys hear about that at all?
Nope.
I briefly saw something, but I just kind of giggled.
That's not funny though.
Well, I need to know.
Motherfuckers are eating Tide Pods and shit, bro. I don't put anything past them.
I need to know the backstory before I know whether it's funny.
So are they trying to do the craft and shit like that?
Are they Wiccans?
To Florida, of course. It's in Florida.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos, man.
The intellect level in Florida is slightly above functionally retarded.
So it's Bartow, Florida. 2 middle school girls, ages 11 and 12, brought knives to their Florida school in a foiled plot to kill classmates, cut them up, and drink their blood before killing themselves.
Okay, wow.
Police officials said they told us they were Satan worshipers. The girls planned to stake out a bathroom at Bartow Middle School and wait for smaller students to enter, according to a police affidavit. They planned to cut their victims' throats and cut up their bodies and eat the flesh, authorities said. The students then planned to fatally stab themselves. What the fuck? Is that?
I think they were all talk.
Yeah, they're not actually going to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about it, be about it, right?
Those Wiccans and those devil worshippers are always saying things they don't mean and whatnot. So I feel like they were just coming to that school that day and telling everybody what kind of knives did they have? I bet they
overlooking the fact that they're 11 and 12.
Yeah. Well, get your shit together.
I had at least 2 bodies by the time I was 9.
No.
They're way behind.
No way.
No.
One of them had a pizza cutter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were all talk.
Wow.
Possession of 4 knives, a pizza cutter, and
Can't wait.
a knife sharpener.
When she's about 16 years old and she's trying to get a fucking job, she's like, "Where'd you get that chick that had the pizza cutter at the school trying to drink people's blood?" Yeah, that's me.
Could you imagine somebody trying to murder you with a pizza cutter? Just give me the fucking thing.
Well, I'm obviously not going to give you a job, but can I get a picture with you?
Pizza cutters actually can't really do.
I know.
They wouldn't do any damage whatsoever.
Her on the neck in the bathroom, just trying to really get in there with the pizza
47
cutter.
minutes. This is gonna end very well. This is gonna suck for you.
So I apologize 110% to the listeners. I've had Johnny muted for the last 8 minutes. So
have you really?
It's gonna sound like you're in another room when you're talking on the podcast for the first 8 minutes.
It's probably a good idea.
But now you're good. We're good now.
Thanks for that.
I'm a bad board runner. I'm a bad production manager. So if somebody's listening and wants,
going on in my ears
wants
too.
to be, it's your a little bit of buzzing, so I can turn it down, but then your mic's turned down. So we're gonna.
I don't think.
Do you want to switch chairs actually, so I can just turn this off? Seriously, you want to go over here?
Sure.
It would actually help, I promise. But anyways, I don't know. I think.
This is like Bush League Wiccans. They're not.
Did that happen? Back in the day, did we have other news stories of this happening when we were younger?
See, what I'm relating this to is we had kids that would say that they were going to do stuff like this, and they never did stuff like this. They were all talk, and I'm just kind of assuming that these people were the same, except they actually brought the knives to school.
Yeah. They actually did bring knives to school?
Yeah, I did.
No, you weren't listening.
I wasn't. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying that these 2 girls brought the knives to school, so that was the only thing that that was different from the kids in our days. They didn't actually bring the knives to school,
yeah.
but they still talked all that shit, saying I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. But I don't even think these 2 girls are actually gonna do anything because they, I think they were just
I've talked about it on the podcast before. I had a kid that told me he was gonna stab me in the eye with his pencil, and I just kept telling him do it, bro, do it.
I got stabbed with a pencil.
I think everybody has a pencil mark.
His is still there. Look at
that was
that.
mine. I have one on my leg where somebody stabbed me in the leg, and I was like bleeding down my leg. And
No way.
He's like, "Don't tell on me. Don't tell on me."
Yeah, Benji McDonald got me. Like I deserved it though. He told me like 8 times. He's like, if you do this one more time, I'm gonna stab you with my pencil. I was like, do it, bitch. And then he did it, and I was just like, oh shit, dude just stabbed
Was
me.
the pencil actually hanging out?
I don't remember. I just remember bleeding a lot.
I was on a hit list in 6th grade.
No way.
No, swear to God.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right? Me, like, it didn't surprise me either. Like, one of the shop teachers at Greenfield Middle School is just like, hey, you need to come talk to me right now. I was like, I'm not sucking your dick, dude.
That's where my mind went first.
You know? And then they like escorted a few kids out of the class, and like we had to go to the office and like be secured and shit until they got this kid out of there. Like,
I've told you guys I told you the story of
I was shitty because I was number 2, not number 1. Tormented that kid.
You were the deuce that he never took.
Okay, what happened to you?
So I had a kid making fun of me when I was a younger boy, and I was in like 2nd grade, and I wrote him a letter, because he was talking about how dare you? Well, he was talking about Jack the Ripper. So like he was like talking about how scary he was, and like he was making fun of me. So I was like pissed off. So I wrote him a letter like I was Jack the Ripper. Like I was like, dude, I'm gonna find you and choke you to death. And so I thought, man, that's funny. Like he's really freaked out. This is cool.
Yeah.
Then my teacher starts calling everybody up to the desk, and me being the fucking genius I was when I was a little kid, had torn the letter out of my notebook, but left the other half of the paper still in my notebook. So what she was doing was she was calling people up and like trying to match it up if like they had a torn page in their notebook.
Yeah. Well,
and so I got
detective. What was her name?
Detective Mrs. Bustle. Mrs. Bustle. She was an old fucking hag. I hated her.
Is her
too.
first name Karen?
I have
want to
no
talk to
fucking
the
clue.
manager.
All I know is her name is fucking Mrs. Bustle, and I hope she's probably dead now.
Damn, you were about to say I hope she's dead.
I were.
Yeah, I hated her.
Oh my
Hated her.
goodness.
So
Damn,
she matched up the page to my ripped out page, and then I had to go see like a counselor, and they were like, thought I was like,
that could be anybody's page.
But no, like so the reason I hated her so much though was at another point in that fucking 2nd grade year of my life, I wrote something on the chalkboard, like when she went down to the principal's office or something. Like I wrote something funny, like inappropriate. I think the word was pussy or something like that.
Yeah.
I like wrote it on the chalkboard, and so this is where I hated her and I hated my classmates at the time.
Snitches.
She came back in and was like, on the count of 3, I want everybody to point at who did this.
Damn.
And so I'm sitting there thinking like, you motherfuckers, don't do it. You don't have to point at anybody. You could just sit here, not fucking point at
That
anybody.
baby's mine, boss.
And then on the count of 3, everybody pointed at me like, he's the one who wrote pussy on the chalkboard.
I just wanted her to be like,
Did you put them on your
who
list?
wrote pussy on the board? Who did it?
And yeah, man, I hated her. I also got in trouble that same fucking year. I took a thumbtack. So you know how I'm sitting on this computer chair right here?
Uh-huh.
So there's like usually on the old ones, there was like cardboard or like whatever on the bottom of them. Mm-hmm. So I took a thumbtack and put it up through the cardboard so that when you actually sat down and like squished through the foam, you'd like poke your butt on the thumbtack.
Just for 5 seconds, put yourself in this lady's position, and you're doing all this shit. She can't just be like, "Oh, somebody wrote pussy on the thing."
She started it.
I'm just saying she can't let that go. She probably didn't want to deal with it as much as you didn't want to get in trouble. You were probably like, she was probably just like, God damn it, I don't want to put up with this today. Yeah. But instead, she had to have your whole fucking class narc on you.
Yeah, it was a rough 2nd grade year. That's all I'm saying.
You were just a hellion.
Yeah, that was a rough elementary school for me because I like to I don't know, I was trying to like I guess act out maybe. I don't know, but I never took knives to school and I never said I was going to drink classmates' blood.
What are some things that we all did as kids that were like every little kid did them? Like kind of like, do you remember getting like paper towels wet and then sticking them on the ceiling?
I never did that.
Pencils too.
Oh yeah, because
throwing your pencils and they'd stick.
Yeah. I did that a lot.
I was always jealous of the people that could get them to stick.
Taking your ruler and rubbing it against the side of your shoe and then burning the person's leg that was sitting next to you.
Pulling your pants down and masturbating. You didn't do that?
I had a kid.
Did you guys ever beat off at school?
Nope.
No, I didn't
didn't,
either.
you?
No, I swear to God, I was just
I
wondering.
did get head in the bathroom once.
So I had a
What?
Yeah.
Say again.
I did
Come again?
have a woman perform
Oh,
fellatio.
okay. Fellatio.
Yeah.
no. I had a when we were in
I didn't give some dude head in the bathroom.
I just heard. I don't know. I heard something weird.
when I was a freshman in high school, we had a kid that did beat off in class. Got
Did
the
you
like,
help him?
No, got the jism on
Oh
his
my
on his hand.
God.
And he like flicked it at somebody.
I guarantee it was like.
He flicked it at a girl in our school, and like I said,
Dude, if you did that
this was-
today,
yeah,
it would be
ass.
national news.
he would be in jail.
Yeah, you can't
He'd
just
be
be
in jail.
flicking your sperm at people.
Yeah.
Dude, and also, was he like nerdy?
Was he
kid?
accurate?
No.
Oh.
He was on the football team.
Was he accurate?
There's always those kids that were like in sports. There's always that dude that always had to like be having his dick out and
Yep.
like trying to wrestle
Running
you
around.
and like be. It was like, dude, you're gay.
No, a few of them. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Was he
No,
accurate though?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Surprisingly.
Spider-Man.
Surprisingly.
Dude, that had to scar the fuck out of her.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably like somewhere
this-
right
to this
now.
day.
Someone's like, "Can I come on your face?" And she's like, "No," and then just runs out of the house screaming.
If my phone, I wish I could pull a sound effect.
Do you remember the spit wall at Greenfield?
No.
In the boys' locker room, there was that wall that was farthest away, and people
And that's
just
disgusting.
people just loogied on it, and it was like no one cleaned it ever, and it was just like this nasty ass loogie wall.
I
So
remember
much
a certain
DNA on that
person in
wall.
a baseball bat though.
What?
I'm not gonna name
Sitting
it.
on it.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know if it happened,
No.
but I heard.
No.
I heard a lot of weird stuff like
Yeah.
I
that.
heard wine bottle at some point.
Yeah.
The fat end first.
I couldn't get it all the way in though.
All right, so
She heard it gets better with age, and she was like, sat on it. I'm gonna save this for later.
So we're gonna go ahead and call Shaun Latham and see if he answers. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't even know what to ask him because I don't.
I don't either.
All right, on the phone we've got Shaun Latham, the $20 chef. He's part of Barstool Sports. You guys might have heard him on the Pat McAfee podcast, and he's also done some really awesome interviews for Rough and Rowdy, and he's also getting ready to work in New York at the Barstool office, and then also he's got a show in Nashville, Indiana that we're traveling down to next weekend. How are you doing today, man? This is Shaun Latham.
Hey, what's up, guys? Pleasure. Thanks for having me on your show.
I appreciate you taking the time to do it, man. Like, I've been a huge fan since the time that you were on Bob and Tom. So, like, just kind of tell us how you started getting into the business of stand-up comedy and all the stuff you got going on.
I got a job at the Improv in Arizona in 2001, in Tempe, Arizona. And then there was a few guys there that were doing open mics. And I said, fuck it. I mean, I'll try it. I thought it was funny, so I started doing it, and then I just kept going. And then I moved to LA in 2004 because I thought I was funny, and then I moved there and realized I was absolute dog shit. But I just kept going anyways. And then things started getting kind of good in 2009. You know, I started getting a couple of, cool shits happening. Got in a movie. Started working with Gabriel Iglesias. You know,
Yeah, you did travel around. You traveled around with the Fluffy guy, right?
Yeah. For like about 5 years, I lived on his tour bus, basically.
Dude, I bet
Almost 5
that
years.
was fucking crazy. Like, seriously.
I didn't even have an apartment. I put my stuff in storage. We would go on January 1st. We would leave, and I wouldn't be back to LA until like July.
Jesus.
Then I would just be on that bus every day, just every weekend. 4 cities: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we take the Monday and start driving to the next set of cities.
Yeah.
And then we did that. I did it for 6 months, and then we have like a month break. I just sit on my buddy's couch that I was on tour with, and then we would go back out again in like September. But that was a hell of a run. That was a really good time.
Yeah, I can't believe like that you guys would just be gone that long. But you also like started that YouTube channel, the $20 Chef, man. So what was
Huge fan of that.
What was the inspiration for that? Are you like, I mean, have you just been cooking for a while?
Well, when you're a broke-ass comedian, you have no choice, really. Like, if you want to start doing work on the road, there's not much money involved. So you have to you have to start making your own food, and it starts off elementary, and then you just start, slowly getting, like anything else you get involved in, you want to do more and get better at it. And then, whenever when I moved to Indy, I moved here because I didn't have shit going on in LA. I had a couple of Comedy Central appearances, but those are great and all. But you still doesn't mean that the world of comedy just opens up the doors for you. You still have to, it's still hard. So my buddy Bowers, Chris Bowers, who owns Morty's, that was Morty's.
Right.
Him and Todd McComas, they were like, you guys, you should move out here. We're going to start this group up called the Motor Pugs, and we're inviting 3 comics from out of town. We're inviting you from LA, this other kid from New York, and this other kid from Chicago, and then we're going to start this group, kind of not an improv group, but like, we'll video stuff, do a podcast, we'll do shows all the time. And then they go, well, and just so you can support yourself, we'll hook you up with our agent, since I already headline their clubs.
Yeah.
He said, we'll hook you up with our agent that books like 20 some clubs, and then you'll be set. I was like, all right, great. So I moved, because Indianapolis is so center. There's so many places, to the country you can drive. At the time when I moved here in 2015, there was like 90 clubs within a 10-hour drive or something like that. So I was like, I have a Prius, I'm ready to rock. Like, let's do it. Yeah.
The red Ram.
You still have the Prius, don't you?
Yeah, I got a truck. The Prius is just back. I'm actually going to try to sell it this week. Anybody interested in buying my Prius, let me know.
It's going to be like that Seinfeld episode. It was owned by Shaun Latham, so it's going to get you an extra couple grand out of it.
Hey, what year is it?
Hey, if it's red, I'll call it the red Ram. I don't give a fuck, bro.
No, I wish. It's black, all blacked out.
So
05, that bitch runs strong still, dude.
So how did all the Barstool Sports stuff happen? What's up with going to New York? Because I just realized, dude, you I follow your Instagram. You were in Indianapolis, so you could have come into the studio at some point, and we could have done a podcast here with you in the studio. When are you actually heading out to New York?
I leave. Basically, my last day in Indiana is the day I do the show down in Nashville.
Nice. So it's like a going away party.
Thursday, I think we're all just going to head around downtown, probably start a Kilroy's or some shit like that, and then just see what happens.
That's awesome, dude.
But, I started doing, Pat approached me, and he said, hey, if I produce a show for you, what would you want to do? And I said, well, because I was doing the cooking thing on my Snapchat, everybody liked it. So that's where it came from, my Snapchat. And then he said, all right, well, let's try and produce it. So we made a test episode in my little shitty apartment downtown Indy. And then it just went from there. We just, he liked it. We kept producing it. And it just kind of took off. What do you think about Indy? This place is amazing, dude. It's really like, I mean, I'm over here trying to fight back tears a lot because it's been a great 3 years. Like the growth of what I've done here, like my friendships, just living here in general, it's so wonderful. Yep. And like this whole thing is so bittersweet. Like, yeah, I mean, I want to go to New York because that's where I can, take it to another level. Hopefully,
right.
Just keep moving. But like my time here has been so wonderful. Like. That it's kind of a mind fuck, because I love it here.
We keep trying we keep trying to tell people when we go on vacation stuff that Indiana's pretty awesome, but nobody wants to believe it.
Well, I know it's hard to believe. If you would have talked to me in 2014 and said that I'm going to live in Indianapolis, and I would love it like this, I would tell you you're out of your mind. Like, why I would never leave LA. Like people that move to LA or live in LA don't move to the Midwest. That's just not how. Especially entertainment.
It's usually the opposite. They're leaving Indiana to go to the West Coast.
Yeah, but you know what? You just have to recognize. Like I was there doing comedy for 12 years, so you have to recognize opportunity. And just be able to. All I wanted to do was go to tell jokes. Like that's at the bottom line of anything. All I want to do is just tell jokes. Like I want to go on stage. I want to make up some new shit. I want to polish some old shit. I want to add some stuff to some other stuff, right. And then I want to hear it. I want to go back and listen to myself, the set. Listen to I record every single show, audio, because that's the only way you grow in this. Like you could grow, but if you don't listen to yourself, if the NFL players never watched no tape, if they didn't watch film, they would not. That's just not. You're being delusional about yourself.
Yeah,
indeed.
Well, I have a hard time listening to the podcast because I feel like my voice sounds ridiculous, so I like try to not listen.
Well, I do want to confirm you have a ridiculously weird voice, and that's
I'm also curious, as I know a few people sitting at the table here are big fans of comedy, and a couple of us have done a little bit of stand-up and tried it out, and I know kind of the people we hang out with do a lot of that stuff. Do you have any advice for people who are just starting out or getting into it and that really want to just do it the right way?
Yeah, it's just all about doing it. Like, you know, a lot of people these days are like, yeah, they say they're committed, they do it one time. The only way to do it is it's uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable lifestyle. You know, like when I have new guys that show up to my room, I've been doing that room on Mass Ave, Burnside Inn. It's a little 40-seater. It's been a great run at that. I did like 20-some shows. It was a good run. But everybody, like if a new guy comes in that's my friend, and I'm like, you're up next, and they're like, no, I don't want to go up tonight. I'm like, no, there's no choice here.
Yeah.
like, are you? This is what you're doing or you're not doing. Like, and I get it because I was like that too. You know, you only you only go up that one place. Okay, then you find comfort there, so you can go up there. Yeah. And then these new places start coming up, and you're like, I don't know if I want to go up here. Well, no, there's no choice. You have to. It's like do it or don't do it. Shit or get off the pot. One of those things. Yeah, that really is it. There's no real secret outside of, I mean, the non part. You know, the not on stage part's important too. You know, you have to always understand, like, you know, you almost got to think like a criminal. When a criminal's walking around in a neighborhood, they're not committing the crime yet, but they're sitting there plotting it and thinking it how they, you know, they're looking. So that's what you got to do. Like my brain is nonstop. Like every thought can be money. Like every thought is money. Oh, so every time I think of something, or I feel at this point, it's like a muscle you build, right? The gathering of the joke. You know, however your brain sees the world is how you grab something. You know, you can't just sit there and go, let me write a joke. You know,
well,
you have to be out. Go ahead. It
does seem like a lot of jokes, a lot of good jokes probably, you know, obviously started with one basic small idea and kind of build into this, like, you know, you go somewhere and you go up on the stage and you sharpen your tools and you work on that joke and you make it turn into something even like that you didn't even think it was ever going to become.
Yeah, no, that's how it works, and you build off it. Like one of my favorite jokes that people always want me to do is a Sugarfoot joke, and that started as a tweet. You know, I did it, and that was before Twitter went to the double-sized characters. It was the first tweet I did because like I did grow up with an uncle that had diabetes, and he only had one leg, and then later on he had the other one amputated as well. So one day when I first moved to Indianapolis, I was stoned out of my mind, and I was hanging out at the comedy club. And the manager at the time, she had a house arrest bracelet on, which killed my soul. I love that, right? Like this pretty white girl over here got popped for, you know, with weed. Now she's on house arrest. And so I just combined it. I go, it would be really awesome. You know, I forgot how it went. It was basically like, it's almost like a 6-minute joke now, but it started as a tweet. I said it'd be really awesome if you had if you were an amputee and you got it on house arrest and they put the bracelet on the fake leg. That would be awesome.
Just go do whatever you want.
Then you just embellish, right? Then you just run with it from there. But if you don't grab it, if you don't grab it out of the sky when you think about it and put it in your phone, my notes are probably 2 gigs of just absolute bullshit, like just random ass thoughts. You know?
Yeah, I have a notes I have a notes in my phone. I have like 5,000 words.
Yeah, we both do that to where we just like I'm to the point where I think of stuff all the time and just put it in my. And I'm not even actually doing comedy right now, but I feel like at some point I'm going to go up there and try it again, and I want to remember those thoughts that I had about certain things.
Something that I've noticed.
You have to do. There's no way around it.
Something I've noticed about myself is like, you know, I went up one time to an improv and like I felt pretty good about it. Like I felt like I got some laughs and I enjoyed it. But I was like, dude, I don't know. Like I feel better coming up with the premises of something. Like I think I can like find funny stuff, but I don't know how to write it or actually make it into a joke. Like I feel like I can like think of something and I'm like, oh, that's a funny like start to something. I need to give this to one of my friends that actually does this. And I think that being a writer, I think would be really cool, but I don't even know how that even works.
Yeah, you know what? It just works by trial and error, really. and that's why you have to listen to yourself, because you don't listen to yourself to hear you be funny. You listen to the parts that weren't funny. You know, you can't make people laugh unless you're fixing the parts that you say that don't make people laugh. I mean, they could laugh, and the good part is when you're up there, if 3 people laugh and have a 31 people in the room, that will kind of give you the whatever, the mind frame to keep going, like, oh, I hear laughter, like the subconscious, like, at least there is some laughing going on, so that it gives you something to keep going, right? It's basically you're feeding yourself little pieces of bread that you're never really full. You're nonstop hunger, and it just helps you like keep going a little farther without dying off. You know, but then you have to listen to yourself, and it's hard, especially at the beginning, because you hear yourself.
Especially if you have his voice.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Yeah, you realize that you are absolutely terrible at it, but you know you have to. But if you really want to do it, you just got to keep going up there and figuring out how to change the unfunny to be funny.
Have you ever had to? I know this is kind of out of left field, but have you ever had to deal with hecklers? And if so, what's kind of your game plan when that? I've always wondered about that, and that's like, I feel like, I don't know if it's comics' worst fear, but I know if I was doing that, I would be really scared that someone's gonna yell some funny shit out of the crowd and fuck me up or something.
That happens. Everybody will deal with that. There's no getting around it. People in the crowd think they're funny. Occasionally they are, you know.
I love that you said it that way, because I feel like that is like, sometimes they do say something funny.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll ride the wave on it. I'll be like, Jesus, bro, what are you doing? I'll give you $5. Watch you do it. Like, but the way I handle it now is, you know, I don't encourage it, but like when it happens, I'm all over it. You can't it's a 99-1 odds that you can outsmart me.
Yeah,
when I'm up there, like,
I've listened to you on so many radio shows. Like, you're so quick with stuff. So like, I guarantee you just fucking eviscerate people.
Yeah, and then like a month ago, I was downtown Indy at Joker's, and this guy starts talking shit, and I hit him with it. I clowned his shirt. I started the shoes and worked my way up. So I'll hit your socks, your laces, your fucking. I start with the shoes. I'll hit your pants. I mean, I'll scan a person in 2 seconds, and I'll have 5 things to say really fast. You know?
One of my favorite things that I've ever heard a comedian do, I can't tell you who it was, but the guy said something out of the crowd or something, and he goes, "Somebody get this guy another drink, and so he can drive home drunk."
Oh shit,
that's pretty hilarious.
So
but that's it. So the way I handle it now is I'll do a little interaction, and I'll be like, "All right, bro, that's enough out of you," you know, and then.
Well, now you get that respect now, right? I mean, like, I feel like you're like, obviously, I don't know about outside of Indiana, but I know for a fact in Indianapolis, you're known as, like, you know, the guy. So, like, I mean, now you have that respect. Does it happen that much anymore?
No, it happens. Like I told, and this time, lately I've been getting, like, I'll give you the time. Like, all right, you want to be Mr. Attention Man? Let's go. Let's make you the attention. And then I'll clown him pretty hard. I'll say some funny things. I don't ever hurt anybody's feelings unless they're asking for it, you know? and then I'll be like, listen, bud, either shut the fuck up or get the fuck out or get smacked in the mouth and all the above. Like, what do you want to do? And then they're like, now it's like, all right, well, what's up then? I'm like, well, what? You get out. Okay, do you want me to smack you in the mouth, or do you just want to get the fuck out? Like, if it gets to that level, I'm saying, you know, like, yeah. I don't play anymore. I'll give you what you want. Here you go. You had the interaction. We had a good time. Okay, now shut the fuck up, and that's it, right? But overall, like, no, that never goes away. When people are hammered, that never goes away. I mean, the only thing that happens is that now I'm just really quick with the sword. So, you know, you can, if you want to, and if it's playful, it's playful. We all have a good time. Keep it moving, you know? Right. I love the interaction with the crowd, but it takes years also. That takes years. Like, for years, I was scared shitless. Like, please, God, nobody's saying nothing. You know? Let me do my 5 minutes and go back to my shitty life. Like, let me just do this, please, and then shut the fuck up, please. You know, and then you'd hope. But now I'm like, I love like the crowd. So my favorite shit is my interactions with the crowd. Yeah, you know, that's the best, because you can't. That's the one thing you can't fake. Like, it's impossible to fake good crowd interaction.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of Bob and Tom. I don't know if the other guys have listened to you on there, but Bob and Tom, so tell me what it's like actually doing their show, because I was very interested in the fact that I feel like a lot of the times when I'm listening to them, a lot of comedians are doing like their bits from their show, like from their stand-up in the show, because like I'll listen to their stand-up and then I'll listen to the show and I'll recognize stuff. Is that planned like that, or do you guys do you just go in there like ready to rock? Like, how does it go?
Well, when you first start going on the show, the producer, he's a really cool dude. He'll come up, he'll like, all right, what do you want us to set up? And that's it. You're supposed to do your material. You just do a conversation on the show. So when you first start going in, I'd give him 5 or 6 different jokes so I can go into, and then he'll be like, all right, he'll give that to Tom, and then Tom does what he does,
And they're masters at that. That's so, it's so wild.
Tom will set up any joke. You give him the list of material, and then he just does what he does. He's really good at it. He'll set up people, and then he does it every day. He takes everybody's material and sets them up beautifully, so that we can say the bit, and then hopefully people think we're funny and then want to come to the show.
That's awesome, dude.
But then when you're on there more, then you're just hanging out with them like you're part of the cast. Like there's no real agenda. It's outside of maybe input and just saying dumb shit, hoping it's funny, it comes off funny or whatever the topic is, So
yeah.
But it's that guy's great. I mean, it just feels awesome. It feels like you're walking into I don't know. It's like there's just this weird, really cool feeling because this guy is such a legend, and what he does and what they've done over the years is so magical that you can feel it when you walk in there and sit down. Like it's really intimidating, but in a good way. Like it feels like it's almost like you don't belong there.
Right. Oh, dude, I've dreamed of that's literally my bucket list is just to meet them and just talk to them because I just think that I've followed them since I was freaking 12 years old. It's nuts.
I almost burnt Bob's house down.
What?
Yeah, swear to God. I had a ex-girlfriend that lived in his neighborhood, and we were shooting those fucking Roman candles and shit, and almost burned his house down on accident.
What? Hey, stay away from my house, okay?
Hey man, I was super stoned.
But so real quick, the last thing I wanted just to ask you about, so what was it like working with the Pat McAfee and the Barstool Heartland? Just give us a little bit of rundown of what happened, and then not what happened, because we kind of know what happened. If they listen to podcasts, they've probably listened to that show and they understand the whole the changing of the guard kind of thing. But what are your feelings on the Barstool Sports and all that stuff?
Pat created his brain is so wonderful. The way he just made a fun factory for people to just make up dumb shit and then execute on it.
Indeed.
My entire comedy career, there are always comedians at the shows. After the show, we're all standing around or out front or outside, whatever, waiting to go up. Or everybody just got off stage. And there's always a topic that comes up, man, that'd be funny, we should film that. Oh, we should film that. Oh, that'd be funny, we should film that. Well, you spend years saying that with other comedians, and then here comes Pat McAfee, hasn't done more than 10 shows. He's just like, you know what, fuck it. Well, if you guys think something's funny, we film whatever you want to do. You got an idea, let's make it. But then you literally, it's finally it finally happened. All that dumb shit you always say it would be funny if you filmed it. He gave us it. He gave us the gear. He hired camera editors, camera guys, and we did it. And that's why my show, this would be nothing without it. This guy took he took what he saw in me, and he helped me produce. He gave me it. He's like, listen, do it. Whatever you want to do. You want to do that show? You want to cook? All right, go. I'll help you as much as I can. What do you got? What can I do to help you produce this? Every day at that office, it doesn't even make sense that it was a real job. I'd walk in
that's what I'm saying. When I follow it, I'm like, dude, I just if I could have given up everything and just fucking worked for them, I would have done it in a second. I'm married and I have a house and all that stuff, but if I could have done it, I would have done it.
Yeah, the way he did that was so badass. I mean, I backdoored the whole operation at Barstool. I didn't go to that Barstool Idol or none of that shit. I didn't have to do all that. I just hung out with Pat. We did funny shit. We did, we always did stand up. We did our podcast and the radio show, and it just kept working and it kept working. And that guy, I mean, the level of love. He was already setting me up to be on my own, anyways. A couple months before this breakup. we had meetings, and he was just like, look, I don't want you to be my employee. I want you to be my coworker.
Right.
He goes, he just goes, the vision I see you and the path of what you've got going on, it's going to blow up, and you need to be your own businessman. You need to be that guy, no longer working for anybody else. And I was like, I'm flattered, because basically they pay the way it works is they pay your salary, and then whatever content you produce, if it's popular enough they can sell ads on it, they keep the ad money. So if they make $1 million off of somebody, like let's say they make $1 million, well, that's good for them. Like they gave me a really nice salary to produce this stuff and hoping that this happens.
That's crazy. I always wondered how that all worked.
Yeah, it's just all, dude. It's literally all about the commercials. That's all that matters.
Right.
Like I got this Frank's Red Hot thing and this other stuff, and I've had to adjust because it's different when you start working with these big ass sponsors. They want stuff taken out. They want stuff, fixed. They want to not do things. So instead of me just having this free will to just say whatever I want, it changes because you have these people paying a lot of money to basically buy your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I'm cool with it. Like whatever, man. I'm a corporate whore.
I want that. I want that.
Yeah, it's a really great problem. It's like for so long I was like, a sponsor would be amazing if they can give us money, and now I get them every episode, and it's changed my life. Like I'm making more money than I've ever made. I'm in a better position than I've ever been in. I'm about to move to New York in less than a week. I'll be doing stand up there right out of the gate. I already got my first show lined up at the Village Underground. Like I'm hitting the ground running. I'm waiting, and when does this podcast come out?
We drop it on Mondays. So basically, as soon as we're done talking here, I'm going to edit it a little bit together, and then I'm just going to drop it down.
Yeah, we could say what's going on in the podcast. I guess just don't mention it in the posts or anything. But I got my own Sirius show coming out starting November 12th from 10 to 11 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. That's what I'm really excited about. I got a good team. We built a good little team for our radio show, and Polar Vortex will be hanging out, and we're going to be doing my thing. And
God damn it! Now I have to subscribe to another thing.
Yeah, $1 for the first 3 months, so get that now.
Yes, absolutely.
These two won't understand, but you're like the Mario Batali of comedy to me, man. Like, I'm a huge culinary fan, so you're like the Mario Batali of comedy to me. Because I love watching $20 Chef, love watching you do your thing. Like, you're fucking hilarious.
I can't wait to come to your show next weekend in Nashville. So you've done a show there before, haven't you?
Yeah, I went there one time. By the way, thanks for that wonderful compliment. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have. One time I had nothing going on, and Todd and Vibbs were playing there, so I went and hung out and just hosted. And now I was blown away by how cool that place was, and I was like, yeah, definitely want to do a show there.
Cool, man.
So it's exciting, and that place is great. That's like the heart of what Indiana is. Like you're talking about a show in a barn where people bring their own drinks.
That doesn't get much more.
Coolers.
It doesn't get much more Indiana, right?
Than that, yeah.
Like they have tailgates. It's a tailgate show without the cars. That's what it is.
What kind of advice do you have? I mean, I'm all about the advice from people who've got their shit going on. So, what kind of advice do you have for people doing what we're doing? We're always taking, any kind of advice we can get from people.
Look in the mirror less and cry more, Shane.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's too long.
The only thing, there's only one real rule: is just keep doing it and keep going and get reps in. It's all about the reps. We did 400 podcasts before we ever did with Pat, and if Todd wasn't on top of his shit and the type A personality that he is, where we all record it and then he would always sit there and edit it every single time. We did it in our garage for a long ass time, and before that we did it, and they did it at the comedy club before that. So the only real secret is to keep doing it and just getting the reps in. Yeah, whether one person or a million people are listening. Yeah. The point is getting in the reps, getting your and being able to step up to the plate and just get a hit every time. That's it. Just making contact.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've definitely, as the show's gone on, and I can tell that we've only moved forward and gotten better and evolved. And I mean, if that continues to happen, then sky's the limit.
Yeah, no one goes backwards. Like, you can't get worse at talking.
I don't know. Sometimes Shane
dude,
and I, Shane has a hard time pronouncing words sometimes. So.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's just a lack of talent on your guys'.
I'm like the George Bush of podcasts. I just don't know how to say big words.
Keep the pretzels away
That's
from
all
that
right,
guy.
dude.
But I
You
think
just stick 2 syllables, bro.
well, I think it's actually turned into like kind of part of his character, honestly. Like, you know, like, I mean, being on a podcast, you are a character basically. You're yourself, but times like 100.
Yeah, and it's fun, man. It's fun. You're just literally talking with your buddies. It's so much fun. You can't have if it's not fun, then that's another thing. If you're not having a good time, if you don't look forward to getting in there with your buddies, then you know that's when you got to start rethinking some things. But
Don't
because
beat
maybe chemistry can always get fucked up. You know, if your friend owes you $500 and you know you only have $10 in your account and he's got $2,000, he ain't paying you, and then you want to do a podcast together. Well, it's not going to go very well. It's going to be shitty chemistry, and that, you know, other than that scenarios, like you can't. You just got to keep doing reps and just keep rocking. I mean, there's really nothing. And that's just advice that goes across the board for whatever you're doing. Like,
yeah, I think it's kind of us against the world type deal. Like, if we're not looking out for each other and doing what's right for the podcast, then, I mean, like you said, it's not going to be good chemistry and things aren't going to go the way you want them to.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you just got to keep doing it, whether it is comedy. That was like the secret. I think Lewis Black told me. He's like, dude, my first 5 years was dog shit.
That sounds spot on.
Just keep doing it, kid.
Keep doing it, kid.
That was it. You know, I went to the Improv. I used to pick all their brains, and here it is. Like, I'm about to be 40 years old. The exact month I've turned 40, I get my own serious show. I moved to New York. I have a show at a comedy club that I've been dying to play at for over 10 years. So it does happen. You know, it does come together. It doesn't. You don't know when the timing is or when you can't force. Nothing can be forced. It's all about it's like it has to happen naturally and organically, and it just matters. Do you have the patience and the will, and the whatever that feeling in your gut, the hunger to keep going.
Right.
Because if none of this was happening right now, I would just keep doing shows.
Yeah.
Like, nothing would change. Nothing would change. Comedy doesn't go anywhere for me. I'm hunting it. Try to do the next paycheck. Try to do the next set. Try to have that feeling when you walk off and you feel like you've just murdered somebody in the gladiator arena and they're just fucking throwing roses on you. You know, it's the feeling. You can't when you start killing, it gets so much more addictive. So much more addicting. Like, and so you just keep going and then that's it. I mean, there's no real secret except for just keep fucking going. You know, that's what I'm doing. Like, everybody thinks that, oh, you made it now. I'm like, no, I haven't made it yet. Like, in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah. I haven't made anything. Like, I don't have any hour specials on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not on HBO. Like, what are you talking about? I made it. Like, and I'm happy people think that. I mean, like, that means progress. I'm making progress.
Yeah.
But I have not made it.
I
don't own shit. Like, I have a car loan, but I make payments.
Yeah.
So, you know, like
my cliche question that I always do to all the people that we've talked to on the podcast: what is there an end game? Like, is there a place in life? Like, if you do certain things, you're gonna look around and be like, I made it.
I think when you have the freedom to do, and also that question is subjective to the person's perspective. That is, whoever thinks, you know, whoever the person is that is deciding what made it means, right?
Right.
So, me personally, if I have over 6 figures in my bank account and I can leave and come and go as I please, I can leave right now. I just feel like going to Bali right now. Like, all right, then I can just get on my phone, get a ticket, go and do it. And then no one can fire me from anything. I'm doing my own thing and I'm going and doing what I want. That will be mine. Like, I feel if I have some cool ass spot that I know that if I just one day woke up and I'm no longer funny, well, I have this house that I can sell off or whatever, right? If I can never do comedy again and still be fine with financially and not have to go and get a real job, then that means I made it personally myself. But you know, I'm a long way from that in my own mind. You know, I mean, 40 years old for a comedian is literally the prime almost.
Well, I'm just going to say, like, you've answered that question better than anybody else we've had on the podcast.
Well, you're having some shitty guests.
You're right about that.
No, I appreciate that, and that's it. It's all perspective. I mean, whatever you're doing, like look at rich people. Like, so they have rich kids that just do drugs and alcohol because they got no drive and they got no hunger because they have, their perspective is all fucked up.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? You literally are starting on the other team's 10-yard line, and I'm back here starting on our own one. Or whatever the fuck, you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and they're depressed, taking pills, trying to legitimize their problems because it's been clinical depression or whatever. Like, oh, I've been clinically fucking, what's the word? What's when you get clinically something?
There's something about starving and being in the shit that just kind of like.
Well, also,
brings
like,
out the best in
never
you
being
sometimes.
satisfied. I think you're talking about like an end game, but I think when you get a little taste of success or anything, you want to just keep going and see how far you can take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like anyone with a little bit of success they get like, wow, this is great. I bet I could. And you're hungry and you want to continue. And like you were talking, rich
those
kids,
yachts and
they
thoughts,
already
bro.
have that. They already have everything that they've ever wanted, so they don't have any drive to actually like be anything.
Yeah, Pat always said, one thing Pat always says in the office, he goes, hey, some people get comfortable when things look like they're doing well. He goes, are you gonna be content with where you're at, or are you gonna double down because the hunger is real? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think it's important.
I mean, that guy is his. If you don't act like he acts, and you are not even near his level, then that means you have a problem mentally that you have to deal with, right?
Yeah, you're already getting beat every day.
Yeah, he's a multimillionaire. He's excelled at every level of everything he's ever done. He gives away hundreds of thousands of dollars for people every year. I mean, the guy's on another level, and you would never know. He's just a humble, cool ass dude. So if he's like that, and if you're not even near his level, and you're not like that, well, I got to keep, got to keep going.
I just want him to call me cuz one time.
But no,
that's fucking awesome.
I 1,000% appreciate you taking the time to do the podcast with us, man. Thank you for doing the interview and just chatting with us, man. It's actually gone a little bit longer than I expected, but I appreciate you taking that time to do it because you are one of my like people I've looked up to for I don't know how long. Like, I mean, it's at least 3 years since you've been in Indianapolis, but I mean, I appreciate you taking the time. Johnny has like one thing I think he wants to say, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, no sweat, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Man, I'm just curious, like, I'm a huge fan of the culinary arts. Like, was there a certain grandmother or chef that, like, inspired you to go that route? Because I'm just curious. I love the culinary arts. So.
I never ate out as a kid. My grandmother always cooked every single day, and my mom did too.
Same.
So that was definitely a thing growing up. Like, I would be so excited about was my grandmother and my mother eating. Like, we had to be home at 5:30. I think that's what you got to do. But then, so when I got older, I'd always ask my mom for recipes and shit, when I started cooking on my own. And that was, but definitely my grandmother sitting around all day making a tomato sauce from scratch at like 6 a.m. before everybody's up. That was, that was definitely the start of something.
And cooking for the ladies is always like, dude, you already have a leg up on everybody else because nobody does that anymore.
I can confirm that if you follow a shrimp recipe, green shit does go on orange shit. It just
is there any before we get out of here?
They're not asking for much, guys. Just put in a little effort, all right?
Exactly. Before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug or anything?
No, just download Sirius again and start listening to me every day, Monday to Friday.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it literally tomorrow.
It's called ADD Radio with Chef and YP. YP's my partner.
Can't wait, dude. That's so awesome. And then also, we will be in Nashville, Indiana, so I hope to actually get to shake your hand and chat with you a little bit in person.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just let me know where you're sitting so I do not come talk to you fucking weirdos.
Yes.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
This weekend.
Thank you, man. Have a good one, and then just keep killing it, dude.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Peace out.
Hey.
That was a fucking awesome interview. I'm so
incredible.
excited I got to talk to him.
Yeah, what a cool ass dude.
Like, it's so cool.
He's one of the dopest individuals ever. Like, culinary and comedy, my two favorite things. Like, he's like a fucking hero to me.
Johnny's in love.
Yeah.
I have been. Do you guys know his address? No, I'm just kidding.
But no, I think it's awesome to like actually hear that, because I've talked about like, dude, I was like in a dark place early last week where I was like, I'm just gonna fucking quit this podcast.
Damn.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Well, I just want to go out there and say it and like put it out there, just because I was thinking like I don't know, I get when I drink a lot, like, and then like have that, you know, what is it, the antisocial feeling the next day. Like I had that after the tailgate podcast, because like that was really fun, but like not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like I wanted it to be big. I wanted like people to be excited to come in, and it was big. It was fun. We had somebody from fucking Buffalo, like that was a fan of the Buffalo Bills, and it was a great conversation, great podcast, all that stuff. But like at the end of the day, like when I'm again, and I'm a slave to like numbers, so like when I see like that only 200 people listen to this, I'm like, God damn it. And but then Jen actually, like, who I don't feel like supports the podcast, she doesn't listen, she doesn't give a fuck
Here's
about
the
it.
laptop, have fun.
She actually, like, because I texted her and I was like, you know, I'm thinking like maybe get to like 200 episodes and call it like quits. And she was like, why? And then she actually like got like in my head and like reversed the thoughts I was having, and then having him on.
Yeah.
Like it just gets me like back in that mode, and like, and Johnny and you, like when you guys text me about stuff that has to do with the podcast, like it gets me back into it.
We've definitely gotten away from that recently, at least with me, because
Yeah.
I'm busy.
You're busy as fuck.
And I hate that. That's one of my, I hate not being able to be interactive throughout the week. And like sometimes you'll text me, and by the time I'm fucking, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I gotta get my daughter ready for bed and blah, blah, blah. So that I feel you. Like I feel like we're gonna definitely go through some dark times where things aren't necessarily going the way that we want them. But he just gave us like proof, you know, like
nuggets of great information.
Keep chugging away no matter what, and something will. He said he did 400 podcasts.
That's so
before,
crazy.
and we're like not even fucking close to that.
No.
And think about how good at being podcasters, or whatever the fuck you want to say, we will be by the time we get to that 400.
Right.
This show, just in the time that I've been on it, has evolved
leaps and bounds.
existentially.
You're welcome, guys.
Did I fuck it up?
Existentially doesn't work. That's like that's like you thinking about like your own life and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I am thinking about my own life right now. So it works.
No, I just, like I said, like I don't know. I had a really weird feeling, but it's something that, like I said, you guys have like actually like put like. I don't think you guys intentionally pushed me, but
if you get rid of the podcast, I'm keeping it and I'm running with it.
Straight up, like, you know, those texts when I send them to you, like, I'm so glad I'm comfortable with the word hero, because those drunk texts are like, Jizz, we gotta do this. We gotta fucking do this, bro.
Well, I just like I said, I'm super excited about like the stuff that's coming up, because like when I was thinking that, I was like, there's nothing fucking happening, nothing's going on. This is just gonna be the same thing over and over. But then he came on. You guys have given me like new life. Like I said, like if I was doing this by myself, I would have probably already quit.
Yeah.
But I feel like having you guys as
now I'm just worried you're unstable as fuck over
Yeah,
there.
me
It's
too. I'm like,
the podcast is going to end at any moment.
Dude, you guys
Where's
know
the
me.
cross-eyed bear?
I'm way too obsessed with this that I'm gonna not stop.
I'm just gonna like.
Do you
I'm
see
gonna
how
start
he's stroking the mic stand as he says that?
I'm gonna start paying someone to like call
life coach.
No, to like.
Just a boy.
I'm gonna pay someone to like message on like the, you know, like say something really like Juice's voice just does something for me. And then you're gonna cream your pants, and then we'll have a podcast forever.
No, I appreciate you guys being a part of it, and I appreciate him coming on the podcast because it's fucking awesome. Like it just the people we get to talk to and the people we get to meet is just that's what keeps me like excited about doing it every week.
That's one of the top 10 influences in my life right there that we just had a conversation.
Like I think of all the things that I have got
It's
to
incredible.
do because of this podcast, and there's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Like I mean, just talking to the famous people that we've talked to, whether they be, you know, famous to someone else, I don't really give a fuck.
Right.
But to me, that was a huge deal talking to, you know, BMX, you know, gold medalist,
DJ Lavin,
talking to fucking movie stars, talking to reality TV show stars. I would have never done stand up if it wasn't for this because I got roped into it.
Right.
I would have never got to do a live 100th show. Like how long have I been on the podcast before we did that? Like not very long.
Right.
And I just we just fucking went and did it, and it was what it was, but it was fun. And
I always give myself props about the fact that we're just gonna try it.
Yeah,
Fuck
you
it.
fucking
we really do.
prepared.
Just fucking, we do we make each other do stuff, and we're both like, I don't fucking know what we're doing, and then we're just kind of like doing it. But who fucking cares? We're doing things that dude. When I tell someone I've done stand up before, which I'm not saying I've done it one time, which is not a huge
same
deal.
here.
But people are like, whoa, really? Like when did and like want to know the story and shit because it's like. It takes a lot of balls to get up on the stage and fucking say that, and put yourself out there and look like an idiot maybe, but,
I mean, that's like a key though, man. Like, you got to force each other to always get better, champion each other, but inspire each other at the same time. Like, that's so huge. Like,
Agreed.
I'll look at you and call you a bitch and like make fun of you all the time, and you'll do the same. Like we do that to each other all the time. At the
if
same
you don't,
time,
that's
like
what friends do.
like like at the same time, like
People
he's
give
having
me
a
a
dark
lot of
moment.
shit,
and
apparently.
it's like, hey. There's a camaraderie in that,
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's-
I mean, even.
camaraderie.
Oh, you mean like coming?
Yeah.
I'm still impressed on how accurate that kid was. Like the
I know.
accuracy.
I forgot we talked about
Like
that.
if he didn't Spider-Man up the walls afterwards, I'm disappointed.
But I mean, even next weekend, like I'm getting a chance to be an actor in a music video that I just messaged some. The internet's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I
It
just
really
messaged
is.
somebody.
Thanks to him for that. I get to be a part of it
Yeah,
too.
and Johnny's gonna be in there. I didn't ask you because I thought you'd be busy.
Yeah, it's okay.
So
Do you want to do it? We need to take some girls with us.
I won't do this one, but
I won't do that one.
I'll admire you guys from afar.
Okay.
I have a couple other things on this list, but I think we fucking hit it. all.
What's on the list? And we'll see.
Okay, so we haven't done a Judgment Day in a long time.
Okay.
So,
Oh my God.
so I have.
You obviously have one, and now I have to think of one.
So I have a Judgment Day, and we're gonna get into it. It's not working.
I'm doing it for you. Okay, that's it. Let's just do
All
it.
right,
Okay,
Judgment
Day.
Judgment
Here it is,
Day.
everybody.
So Judgment Day, there's a gentleman in, I want to say, let me look it up real quick, but there's a
Don't say
guy.
fucking Florida.
There's a guy not letting Comcast in his backyard to
In his butt.
he's not letting Comcast in his backyard to run internet lines for his neighbors and everything like that. So let me look it up.
Does he actually hold rights to that? Like, can he do that?
I think so.
Sounds like
Ultimate dick move.
he can.
Wonder if he likes French fried taters. Mm-hmm.
He was just a boy.
Okay, so here it is. A backyard dispute is keeping residents of one Colorado neighborhood from getting an internet upgrade. A neighbor is refusing to allow workers access into his backyard to install fiber optic cables unless he gets paid. Andrew O'Connor said it's about a big corporation bullying people and trying to run people over. The Lafayette resident says he is not allowing Comcast in his backyard to install higher quality fiber optics on principle. He says the company was unprofessional when they first asked to install the upgrade. Now he says it'll take much more than an apology. It will take cold hard cash. So first
He's
of all,
an asshole, but
dude, fuck this guy.
This is like-
if I was
he's
his
an asshole,
neighbor,
but
I would be like,
clapping.
dude, I'm trying to get fucking 1,000 megabytes a second download,
This is-
and
he's
you're
trying to get
fucking stopping it,
$1,000, bro.
No, dude, get out of here.
This
Fuck
is
off.
present day, like the man coming to your farm and being like, "We're gonna build a highway here."
I don't give a fuck, dude. Do it. Like if fucking Comcast was like, "Hey, we're gonna go dig a trench in your backyard," I'd be like, "Fine," and I would be like, "That's cool because that's good for my neighbors. That's good for me." Don't give a fuck. This guy's an asshole. And this
Okay,
guy's
okay.
He's a terrible person.
Scenario. Okay, right now, knock on the door. Guy's from Comcast. He's like, "Hey, guy, we're putting a fucking thing in your backyard. Is that fine?" Like, he's just a dick.
Yeah.
And he really rubs you the wrong way. He talks to you like a piece of shit. Are you gonna let this guy still do it?
I feel like
Dude, it's a principle thing.
Nothing-
If someone comes to my house and is like, "We're doing this and we're doing that," I'm like, "Fuck you! You better give me $500 or nobody in this bitch is getting cable."
indeed, like
So that's
the
what that
an
guy's doing, and I
asshole,
think that guy's a
but
dick.
He's not wrong.
But I
It's
don't
his
know.
neighbors.
I don't know the
He
scenario.
probably lives in an exact neighborhood like this.
Yeah.
And he's just being an asshole.
what
He's
if his
being a
neighbor's
fucking piece of
dog
shit.
constantly shits in his yard
Good.
and pisses him
Yeah.
off?
Kick the dog.
If that
Don't care.
fucking apple
What?
tree drops apples in my yard one more time, that's what it is.
I'm done. I think that guy's an asshole. I judge him. He's terrible. Everybody's just trying to get better porn.
I'm gonna
get better
judge
gaming. Like,
I'm gonna judge this guy that made me cuss in front of my daughter the other day because I was out there on 52, and you know how it's just like that long.
This guy made you do
yeah,
that.
he did. There's no like he should have known better. But I'm driving on 52, and you know how it's like a long stretch. There's this two.
Oh yeah.
And we're coming up to one of the lights, and I speed up to get in front of him, just because I'm going faster than you. So I'm like, he fucking speeds up. And like won't let me over, and then and there's a car up in my lane, so I have to like slow down, and he just sped up. He's like, no one gets in front of me. It's a road.
He was racing.
Do you not know how cars and traffic work? Like, so I was fucking fuming. I don't know why. I maybe had like a long ass day. I had a lot on my mind. My daughter's in the back seat, and she's all like, yeah, like being all fucking cute and stuff.
Hey, this backpack has really good straps.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit she says. So I go around the guy, and I go to the next light, and the guy he doesn't pull completely up to the light because he doesn't want to make eye contact with me. I fucking rolled my window down and put my head backwards out of the window. And I go, "What the fuck is your problem?" And he won't look at me. He's looking straight. No, he's looking straight ahead, like, and I'm like
okay.
to his right, and he's just like, I'm like, you fucking piece of shit, blah blah, and like I'm yelling and I'm like saying bad things in front of my daughter, and I felt really bad about that. And then he like the light turned green, and he goes and like peels off, and then
Because he's scared.
I don't know
He's
what he
scared
was.
for his life.
He fucking should be. But anyway, and then we're driving, and my daughter's like, "Why'd you yell at that man?" And I'm like, he pulled in front of us. I didn't know what to say to her. I was like, "You're right. Why did I yell?" Like, now I just feel like a bad parent.
Well, and kids like have that like way of seeing the world, like, and being like,
yeah, like, why'd you do that? Daddy, why'd you do that for? That's not nice.
So I do judge that guy though, because he did the move where he was like, he felt like he was getting beat.
What? It's just one of those things like growth. Like, I get you're 10 years old and you're riding bikes and you want to get to the house before the other guy. But when you're fucking, he was clearly like 40 something. And he just couldn't wait. Hey man, I'm not letting this guy get in front of me. And that's what made me mad. It's like, you're such a, like, I have my kid in the car, and he kind of almost made me like have to slam on my brakes and stuff. And anytime anyone puts like my it makes me really mad. Yeah. So I was like even more mad because of that. And then, so fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he probably lives in New Pal because he kept going straight. And I was like, please turn left on 700. I just fucking dare you. Also, I had a full ass Baja Blast from Taco Bell, and I was about to blast his car with it. I was thinking about doing it. I was like, can I get in trouble for this? Like, I was thinking that. And then I was like, I had to keep having me like, my daughter's right there. And then she's going to go home and be like, Daddy threw a drink at the man. So
that's a really good judgment.
So how dare that man make me be a shitty dad, and fuck that guy.
On the spot, you came up with that, and I love it.
Yeah,
that's good.
I just thought of something that made me mad the other day.
Do you have a judgment day?
Motherfuckers that are pulling a trailer and they don't take 30 goddamn seconds of their time to take the little plug and plug it in so that their taillights work, motherfuckers. I love that truck. I
think there's a thing with like taillights on trailers that they don't work very well or something, because they're always fucking out. And I honestly think a lot of times I'll look and they are plugged in. I don't know if they're just like shitty or what, but
a lot of people don't take care of their stuff.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's still working. I know, man.
Also, would it be weird to have like a trailer cover? Like, you know how you get a car cover?
You know what pissed me off? Like, even though I was like discombobulated a little bit because I had a concussion for sure. Like, I smashed my shit against the windshield.
Yeah.
I get out like ready to like, what's up, motherfucker? We gonna do this? Oh, and then he gets out and it's like some old man. He's like, sir, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I really wanted to fight you. But
shucks. Turns out my trailer lights don't work.
Well, he's like, well, mister, you need me to call the law? And I was like, you just called me mister and you said law. Like, is this 1856? Like,
dude, I love when people that are younger than me call me sir, and I'm like, yeah, you're fucking damn right, I'm sir. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking this old man got like Red Dead Redemption 2 way before we all did. He's like, hey, mister, you need me to call the law?
I call people, like, I call team members at work kids, but they're all older than me. Like I'm like, all right, kids, I'm getting out of here, and they're like, you're younger than us, and I'm just like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm just trying to make a joke. So.
Dude, I have noticed that we're getting to the age where we're able to say things because, like, I'm noticing because I go to school with a lot of younger kids, and they don't know what things are that I know are, like, and it boggles my mind. I'm like, dude, remember fucking
Oregon Trail?
Yeah, perfect example. And they're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, well, and then when I try to explain it, I make it sound so stupid. I'm like, it's like this computer, and you and you die on the Oregon Trail mostly from like SARS or I don't know.
Dysentery.
Yeah,
A
dysentery.
rattlesnake bit Samantha.
Yeah, there's a snake in my boot.
I'll never not forget when I finally learned what dysentery was, because it's basically shitting yourself to death.
Yeah.
Like that made me laugh so hard as a kid playing
Really?
Oregon Trail.
That's how my great grandpa died. Thanks.
No, it didn't. That's not how he died.
Yeah, they named it. Was his name Terry?
Yeah, he was. You know,
Dysentery.
we kind of like grew up in the same neighborhood. You knew this.
That virus is dysentery. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
I just thought of Mr. Hanky coming up and like,
Howdy ho!
I can't do that right now. My voice is too fucked up.
I can't, yeah.
Dude, we have to yell a lot at work, and you have to say like clear. The other day I went clear, like my voice like fucking in front of like 6 dudes. It was like the most embarrassing. I have not been embarrassed in a long time. I was like clear, and they were like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, I gotta poop.
It was so bad.
It worked perfectly though. Like,
You're out by all these planes. You just, like,
I need to isolate that, save it so I can play it on the podcast.
it's like it sounded like when you know those goats that yell. That's what it sounded like. Like exactly what it sounded like.
So all right, this is the last thing because I know we're getting like late on time, but the goat thing that you just brought up, like when I first went to the like state fair and heard goats for the first time, I thought it was a person.
I know. It sounds like someone. It sounds like it does. Or it sounds like someone's in danger or something. And also the fucking goats that just will like if you scare them they just fall over. That's
the
hilarious
fainting goats.
Dude, I would just be out in the field for like hours. Yeah. I would like set them up like dominoes and like and then like do.
No, I can't wait till I'm old enough and I have property. I'm gonna own goats. Goats are awesome. They're hilarious.
Yeah, except they're kind of mean.
They
like,
are.
they'll headbutt you.
But
Yeah.
that's why I want to fuck with them. Like I want them to like be playing like headbutting me and like Blue's out there with his hard head and getting headbutted by
he's gonna be like 40.
Yeah. He's already fucking like almost 8 years old.
I love that. I thought your other dog was really old, but he's just gross.
No, Toby is really old. Toby's like 10.
He's super
Oh,
old. Dude.
really? I asked, and she said he was like 2. I thought.
No.
Oh, okay, so he is old. That's
he
why.
acts like he's 2.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's old man breath.
Oh God, it's so gross. It
so
smells like
glad I
rotting,
can't smell.
rotting flesh that is fish.
Remember how I always say like that looks like it smells bad? Like that's a perfect example of just like.
Yep.
Imagine Jeffrey Dahmer pulled his toothbrush out of someone's asshole.
What the
Ooh.
fuck? That was
Every
so
morning.
specific.
He's thought of
because
this
it's-
before. That's what I'm saying. Like
But that's what
I'm just going with it.
That's
Yeah.
what it smells like, though.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You get what I got
Dead,
a weird,
rotting flesh.
I got a weird vibe coming from.
All right. On that note, Jeffrey Dahmer's butthole toothbrush. Goodbye.
Warm water or cold water?
No,
Let us know.
that's it. So
Oh
what is
yeah,
it?
toothbrush.
What is it? Is it?
I'm cold water. I never fucking in my life thought.
I thought people were crazy when they were
So
saying
what
they
we're
use
talking
warm
about
water.
is
The Facebook post.
do you use cold water or hot water to brush your teeth?
Did somebody now? What I'm curious about is, was that just a train of thought that you had, or did somebody teach you that?
It actually evolved.
Well, listen to Shane's way of doing this.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
it's evolved
Serial
over
killer.
it's evolved over the years. I think when I first started brushing my teeth, I did it very normally.
Cold water.
Yeah.
Cold water.
So, and then I noticed that like I was always scared that I was brushing the enamel off my teeth
What the?
because you can
fuck?
do that because I brushed really hard when I was a kid. So, and then my doctor's like, "Hey, you need to chill out on how hard you're brushing your teeth."
That's not sandpaper, dog.
Yeah, I'm like, get them clean. But anyway, so I was like, man, I noticed that when I go to clean my toothbrush, it's like hot water makes the bristles a lot softer. So when I brush my teeth, I use that and I kind of go really soft, so I don't like do that. So eventually I was like, now I need to start cleaning my tongue because I noticed I did it one time and all this shit came off my tongue and I was like, oh God, I'm never not brushing my tongue ever again.
What came off of your tongue?
Dude, I sleep with my mouth open for, like we've talked about, there's a petri dish on my fucking tongue when I wake up. I'm like the Mojave Desert on my fucking tongue. So,
Mojave.
you know the movie Sahara?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey is on my tongue with fucking Selma Hayek or whoever the fuck is in that movie.
Man, Selma Hayek's really hot.
Dude, I follow her on
to this
Instagram.
day.
She's still
Yeah.
God,
Her and Jennifer
cold
Aniston
heart.
don't age.
All right, keep going.
Fucking fucks. Anyways, so yeah, I'll make this a lot shorter. I have 2 toothbrushes. I have one for the actual brushing of my teeth, and then I use hot water with that. And then when I'm done, I take the other toothbrush and I use cold water and get it wet so it's nice and hard. And then I brush my tongue really, really hard with it. And then what I do is when the newest toothbrush that I use on my teeth gets old, I get rid of the one for my tongue, and now that's my tongue one. And then that's how I brush my fucking teeth. And it's and I've never had a cavity, so fuck you guys.
How grossed out are you that
There's some kind of rhyming thing with happy tongue, happy teeth, or some, it's out there. I don't know how to say it, but
How grossed out are you that I use my wife's toothbrush because because my toothbrush is in my gym bag so that when I go to the gym in the morning.
dude, you could not pay me to use anyone's toothbrush.
Oh, I've done it before.
No, I've
slept
heard
over
people
at a
like,
girlfriend's house.
can I
and
use your
my own,
toothbrush?
yeah.
I'm like, no, like, dude.
I hit it
I've got
with like
backups. Here you
Listerine
go.
first, but
If you know how there's people out there that they just kind of do whatever they want. If I had somebody like stay at my house and they just were like, yeah, I used your toothbrush, I would like,
I can see it in your eyes.
I don't
right
know what
now.
I would do.
Murder would occur.
First of all, I'd go in the bathroom and like make myself throw up a bunch of times, and then I'd come out and beat their ass. If they were like, for their sake, I hope they're not a woman because I'm going to jail for sure.
The conviction in your eyes right now
Dude,
lets me know.
God,
like,
that's so nasty. Think about, okay, so the thing that makes things so nasty for me is the actual thought of that thing happening. So imagine my toothbrush going into someone else's mouth and then brushing across their fucking gums and their
Oh yeah,
and
I do that with Jen's toothbrush.
and there's fucking there's like blood involved, even though you don't want to like admit it. Like you got gums and they're gonna bleed, and like
my gums don't bleed.
I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying if you hit your gum hard enough, it's gonna there's nasty shit on there. It's
yeah.
basically like people get herpes and all kinds of nasty
but
shit from that.
This is his wife.
What's in her mouth is in my mouth.
No,
But
but
it's kind of like how I look at it.
The thing is though, like I say that, but at the same time, like I would not be opposed to like if I was staying at somebody's house and they were like,
Dude.
"Go ahead, just use my toothbrush." I'm like, "All right, cool."
I can't even tell you the weird things that I do. Like
mouthwash, just dip it in a couple.
No, I don't even care about that. I'm good.
like, okay, I'm the guy if I go to a cookout and there's hot dogs, and I go and I see that there's a hot dog bun bag already open, I'll go open the next one because I don't want my bun have already been fondled.
But we love it. We love it about
I
it.
agree with you on that though.
Yeah, dude.
One thing about working with a lot of
Okay.
great individuals, like one
Okay.
thing I've learned, I had to
degenerates.
stop myself there, but
Yeah.
there's like certain people out there where like I noticed white people, they just kind of like reach into shit and just grab handfuls of it, and it's real gross.
Dude, my dad's
a lot-
ex-girlfriend. She made mashed potatoes for us, and like the ones you can microwave, and she stuck her fucking finger in it. She stuck her finger in it to see if it was cold. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm just seeing." I'm like, "It's a microwave. Just if it doesn't seem hot enough, turn it on more." It made me. And I'm like, we had this big thing. Like I was like,
I made it with my strong hand.
and then people that touch like put let me put some cheese on that for you. I'm like, no, how you doing? I'll fucking like.
I'll get my own cheese.
Well, someone will be like, "No, I'm gonna make you a sandwich." I'm like, "I'll make it," and I get up and I go make my own fucking sandwich because I don't want people touching my shit.
I'm
weird.
It.
All right, let's get
I
out of
love
here.
it so much, though. I love it. So the last thing, real thing that actually grosses me out is when I grab.
If it grosses you out, it's probably gonna really fucking gross me out.
Yeah.
When I grab Jen's towel by accident, like when I'm showering and it's still damp. That's
tell
the
you something?
grossest feeling of all
Can
time.
I tell you something? I use Nicole's towel all the time, and sometimes it's damp and it doesn't bother me at all.
See, so we're.
I just
different
think to
right
myself like, My body, your body.
Well, I don't like.
There ain't nothing
It's literally just the sensation of the towel being damp that grosses me out. Like, and I like, so in the morning I'll have to like, I'll be like, Jen, can you get me a towel? Because this one's gross. And like she's like still asleep, so she's pissed off because she's like waking up, and because I don't want to run naked. I don't know. I'm weird about that. Like
I do it all the time.
My thoughts on like what's the opposite of demagnetized? So like you got you coming out of the shower and you got someone that hasn't been in the shower. So I think of this person is dirty and this person is clean, and there should be no touching. like if you know someone got out of the shower, was like, you want to do it, and I'm like,
get in the shower.
Why don't I take a shower first and then we'll or something like I can't do like that. Like they're already kind of like
polar opposites.
It's weird. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't like damp towels. And so this is the other thing. If Jen has used the toothbrush, it grosses me out because it's still damp.
That makes sense.
But like if it's dry, I'm good.
Yeah,
don't care.
Because you actually have a problem with her using it. You're just like not.
I'm compartmentalizing.
Yeah, you're
it.
not accepting the fact that she has used it because it's showing signs of not being used.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm going to Nashville, Indiana next Friday to watch Shaun Latham do stand-up, and hopefully we get to talk to him, chat with him, party with him a little bit. It's his last night in Indy, I think. I think he's moving to New York, so that's awesome. Like, that's going to be great. And then next Sunday, hopefully being in a music video, which is cool.
Damn, you got a crazy weekend.
Got a busy weekend. I'm going to be driving a lot. I'm going to go down to Nashville, and then I'm going up to Fort Wayne. So
I can't wait to not use any of my gas and use all of his.
Yeah, my truck gets like 8 miles to the gallon, so it's awesome. But yeah, and we've had a good podcast. I had a good time with you guys. Thank you for coming back. And, we stayed up a little bit later, but we had a good time.
I murked them boys in Call of Duty last night, though.
No, you didn't. We just kept getting killed.
I actually did pretty good.
All right.
But anyways, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks
Peace
for getting out of that darkness,
ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, it's gonna happen. I'm a weird.
The double of the juice is worth the squeeze. All right,
I'm a weird guy. So
just a boy.
This is a good episode, and
French fried.
Hopefully, the juice was worth the squeezing.
Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning.